Crafting is stupid. Okay, maybe stupid is an overstatement, and I want to mention that crafting isn't badly designed or anything. It's one of the best complex specials we've ever had in Splatoon design-wise, and it's one of the specials I've had the most fun with since the Splatfest demo. However, that still does not excuse it from a few problems. This is a video made by a low-level competitive player, so my opinions might not match with others. Whether you're a casual player, a low-level player, or a high-level competitive player, this video is more of a rant than anything, but it has been an idea I've had for quite some time. If you're new to this channel and you enjoy my content, leave a like and subscribe, as well as hit that bell for future videos like this. Now, let's get into that video. When I mention the word balance, that is not implying that crafting is broken or overpowered. As I mentioned earlier, crafting isn't badly designed. The problem lies in the fact that there are other factors in Splatoon 3 that make crafting unfun to play against. Crafting has been meta since the start of this game's release. After a top level JP team won Splatoon 3's first area cup with Triple Splash Machine, others in the competitive community also started experiencing comps around Splash, and eventually, that's where the meta settled in. But why is Splash specifically the weapon that is Rant? Splat dualies I craft, and so do Vanilla Pro and L3. Why is this specific weapon so much better than the others? Well, it's because of its kit synergy. In Splatoon 1, Splash's Vanilla kit had Suction Bomb and Suction Bomb Rush, while the Neo component had Bomb Rush and Inkzuka, which was a better kit. In Splatoon 2, Vanilla had Toxic Mist, which is arguably the worst sub it could get, and Inkjet, which wasn't bad, but also didn't have much synergy with the weapon itself. While its Neo kit had Burst Bomb and Suction Bomb Rush, which once again was a better kit. It's also good to take note that Splatoon 2 Splash Neo was meta during that time. In Splatoon 3, Splash got Burst Bomb and Crafting. Splash itself is an insane main weapon with quick mobility, a great kill time, and it's the only shooter that has no jump RNG in Splatoon. Its sub, Burst Bomb, combos well with the main weapon, as well as painting its feet, which only adds to its movement. And its special, well, we'll get into that very soon. This kit, combined with one of the best specials in the game, is why Splash is the best crafting weapon. Because compared to the other 3 weapons that currently have crafting in this game, it is the best. Splash is also the least amount of negatives. Dualies have dodge rolls, which isn't bad, but it also has to do with weapons that can punish its in lag. Splash Sharp Pro is a mediocre main weapon, which has to do with its low ping, RNG, and movement, as well as its incongruousness. Not to mention that its sub-weapon is Line Marker, which isn't the worst of in Splatoon 3, mind you, but it doesn't do a lot to support the main weapon. And L3 now has Jump RNG for some reason, and has Curling Bomb. Combined with the fact that NPU no longer exists, this weapon is now arguably the worst shooter in this game as of now. The only negative I can think that Splash has is its range, which even then, there are so many positives that the weapon has, I argue that they negate that. On the 17th of January, Splatoon 3's second major balance patch was released. Finally, after having to do a triple splash and team comps, we can finally see some tone downs to they only nerfed this duration by 1 second, which can also be negated by running special power up. Yeah, that's it. Now, there are a few other problems within this patch that are addressed by other people, which I'll put a link to in the description. But focusing on the topic of this video, this nerf didn't do jack shit. It's essentially a slap on the wrist. I'm not saying that crafting should be nerfed to the ground, but it needs tone backs, and nerfing its duration by 1 second isn't going to fix anything, especially since it can be mitigated by running a few subs by ability. And until we see that, double craft is going to be something we see in almost every team comp. But this isn't the only reason why crafting is dominant. We also have Splatoon's map design has been problematic since Splatoon 2. Splatoon 1's map design only had a handful of bad maps, and more than half of Splatoon 2's maps are absolutely horrendous. Splatoon 3's map design is way better than 2, but it's still not good. Maps are still cramped, spawn campaigns are arguably worse than 2, and installation specials on some maps feel like hell to fight. The best example I can give is that I played a looting match with my team. It was 1-5 set, and we got swept. My team was good, and their team was also really good. We won the first match since there was more cover, it was a bit more open, and overall both teams had options. The next 5 matches were anything but. We played on cramped maps with little to no space to move, and on more linear maps with barely any valuable side roads. And fighting crafting on those cramped, linear maps with no way to fight back felt horrible. It was the least amount of fun I've ever had playing Splatoon 3, and after going a solid 5 hours of playing the Splatfest to fighting crafting, I wanted to shut off my console in the middle of the set. A majority of the maps in Splatoon 3 are dog shit. On certain game modes, the entire map can feel like a choke point. They're linear, and most routes they bleed to is straight into mid. Lanky lockouts feel absolute hell to play on. Crafting relies on range in order to get the most value. Because most of these maps are designed to be linear or have high ground, even with certain specials that counter it, crafting gets away with too much. And before you say, use Object Shredder or get into cover, running headfirst into a crab to shred it, especially if it's a 1v1 or if they have teammates around it, is only going to result in you getting mowed down. And on some maps, running away or hiding behind cover isn't possible because it has a secondary fire mode that has splash damage, which if you didn't know, can also poke behind walls. And relying on specials to counter a special is a problem that Splatoon 2 had, which if you played it, you know wasn't fun. The way this can be fixed is to give Crab Tank tone back to either its damage or its fire rate or HP, or a map design that actually reduces the amount of pressure it puts out. I'm sure you all know what tournaments are and how they contribute to a game. Splatoon has had them since the very first game, but they mainly started becoming popular when Splatoon 2 was out. Splatoon's competitive community is one of the best I've ever been a part of, and it's been something I've been wanting to be in ever since I started playing. However, the metagames Splatoon 3 give the competitive side its own set of problems. Just to simplify it, it's boring. Casting and top competitive tournaments are fun and helpful because they show what top competitive play looks like, as well as helping others understand what good playstyle is. They serve as a great source of information that help people apply to get better. However, Splatoon 3's tournaments are just stale. The reason why this is because both teams are doing nothing but holding mid. Maybe potentially taking team fights every now and then, but mostly just using Crab or any other special to advance the match. This is not only incredibly boring to watch, but also leads to a playstyle where players are only using Crab Tank and other specials to move the objective. This is the same playstyle that Splatoon 2 had, which was also boring because no one is doing anything until the special is used. I want to reiterate that Crab Tank is not a broken special, nor is it a badly designed one. But until we see any type of changes to the special itself or the maps, this will forever be the main part of Splatoon 3's meta, and some can argue the worst.